What's up? We're back, and your Minnesota Wild are 5-0-3. In fact, they have yet to trail for even a minute in a single game. And why is that? Because the Gus Bus, baby. He is back. He is the NHL's third star of the week. We love to see it. All good things, all good things. Plus, Melissa Caruso, general manager of PWHL Minnesota, now known as the Frost, joins us to discuss their upcoming season. As always, we're created by New Voice Studios, presented by SotaStick, brought to you by Talk North, Royal Credit Union, Jim Beam, Grainbelt, and Livea. This is season 6, episode.
At Jim Beam, they know the importance of tradition, like chanting, "Let's play hockey" prior to the start of each game, or playing the state of hockey anthem after a Wild win. This season, raise one to your fan family with the bourbon that invites us all to come as friends and leave as family. Jim Beam Bourbon Whiskey, the official bourbon whiskey partner of the Minnesota Wild and XL Energy Center. Drink smart. Jim Beam Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. 40% alcohol by volume. Copyright 2021. James B. Beam Distilling Company, Incorporated, Fairmont, Kentucky.
Howdy, boys. It is time for the Locker Room T-shirt series to get kicked off, and that will start with a Gus Bus ticket pack. That's right. Help celebrate the Gus Bus and his goalie goal on November 1st when the Minnesota Wild take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. The ticket package includes an exclusive Locker Room T-shirt created by SotaStick and the chance to shoot a goalie goal after the game. Don't only get your shirts there, be sure to check out SotaStick.com to check out all of their unique merchandise and use Bardown Beauties for 15% off. That's SotaStick.com, and Bardown Beauties gets you 15% off. Check out the ticket package, check out all the SotaStick garb, and get your fitted today. Hello, everybody. What's up? We're back. Bardown Beauties, episode 50, 250.
I think it's 250.
I was like, shoot, I knew it was going to be a like milestone one, kind of. 250.
Kind of.
250. I'm Jesse Pierce, writer for NHL.com. She's Kirsten Kroll, in arena host and entertainment correspondent for the Beauties. I love that you got the win going for those watching on YouTube. Do you have a fan going, and that's what's allowing your...
It is so hot outside. Yes, I have a fan going because I need it because I'm dying. Like, I'm just getting hit with everything right now. Like, anything bad that could happen in my life right now is happening to me all at once right now. Like, I'm sick. My house is super hot. Like, summer in late October. I'm congested. I'm on the verge of crying. That's where we're at right now. I'm hoping I can look back on this episode at the end of the season and just laugh.
Yeah.
So, let's bookmark this moment and come back to it later, maybe.
Sounds fair. A lot of happiness to talk about, though.
I hope so.
A lot of happiness to talk about the Minnesota Wild, but first I want to segue off the crying. So sometimes, and I know I get these periodically throughout the season, you get just random, like, marketing emails of different surveys that they take. Like, remember the one year I think it was like hot coach and it was Jay Woodcroft, which was like, no, that's like not, but I guess statistically he was the hottest, whatever. The one that got into my inbox today comes to us from Wetton. I don't know what that is, but the title is 47%, or the email subject line is 47% of NHL fans cry for their team, which obviously piqued my interest because that sounds incredible. Who do you think is the number one team? And these are happy tears and sad tears. Who is the number one team of fans that have admitted to crying? And the survey is from Wetton.com, conducted by 3,500 sports fans from the US and Canada. You think you know, because I hope you say the team that I thought should be number one and they're not.
Okay, so then probably not.
Say who you were going to say, though.
Toronto, hands down.
Yeah, that's who I thought. I was like,
it's got to be a
Toronto.
Canadian team.
It's
then.
not.
Is it Boston?
No.
Is it Chicago?
No, it's
Detroit?
No.
Philly?
No.
Who?
The Tampa Bay Lightning fans lead all NHL fan bases with an impressive 80%. Admittingly, they occasionally shed tears for their team.
Oh, wow. 3 Stanley Cups in what, like 4 years? Cry me a river.
They do, apparently. Apparently, they could cry you a river. Most emotional fans behind the Lightning are the Detroit Red Wings in second. The Dallas Stars and Winnipeg Jets are each tied for third, and the Edmonton Oilers come in at number 5. I'm going to scroll down. Where do you think the most powerful? That's not that. Oh, we got to find the hockey ones. Yeah, so 47%, apparently soccer fans, big criers. 63% of MLS fans are shedding tears. NBA's at 62%, MLB's at 49, the NHL at 47, and NFL at 45. Yeah, I thought that was kind of hilarious.
Agreed. Soccer fans are a passionate bunch.
They are. It's a lot. 88% for Inter Miami, which is an MLS team, have cried. And then the San Diego Padres are top for the MLB at 81%. San Antonio Spurs fan base shedding tears in the NBA. Minnesota's not we're not high up on that list. 51% 69% of tears coming from US and Canadian sports fans are tears of joy though.
Okay.
I know.
Interesting.
Fascinating. Thank you, Wetten.com, for that insightfulness. Like I said, more tears of joy being shed for the Minnesota Wild, who have extended their opening season point streak to 5 games, 3-0-2. They're sitting at, most recently beating the Columbus Blues Jackets. Blues, I did it again. I did it again. I don't know why. Blue Jackets.
There you go. Proud of you. You got it this time.
But got a goalie goal from Filip Gustavsson. Let's start with Filip Gustavsson because we came into the season wanting to give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's earn that spot back, right? Like we have been on the very good side of not discussing the Filip Gustavsson trade because I wanted to see what he could prove, right? Came in with that chip on his shoulder, like prove us wrong. He is doing just that. In fact, he is named the NHL's third star of the week, which, not to toot my own horn, but I think I said that for him for last week too. So they're following my lead. Smart of them. The reason being Filip Gustavsson, the 15th goaltender in NHL history to score a goal, which he did last week, and the third to do so on the power play. He went 2-0 with 1 goal against average plus a .962 save percentage. He's turned aside 27-28 shots before becoming the first goaltender in franchise history to register that goal in a 4-1 victory in St. Louis. All in all, Gus, sound. Very, very sound in general. The 26-year-old has improved to 3-0-1 in 4 games. And places among the early season league leaders in save percentage, where he's 4th at .950. And yeah, Gus, how are we feeling, Kirsten? I'll let you speak now. I feel like I just spoke the entire time, but
honestly, continue to speak. You're carrying this episode, Jesse. He's had a chip on his shoulder in the best way. He's out to prove people wrong. He's trying to be the Swayman right now of the people who didn't believe in him, carrying that mindset mentality. He's taken names, and I love that for him, honestly. Like, this is what we wanted to see from him. We wanted to see him just come back and prove to people that last year wasn't the style of hockey that he typically can play. We wanted this to be a bounce back year for him. So far, 5 games in, we've seen that goalie goal. He scored a goal this season before Connor McDavid and Austin Matthews combined. So, Gus, good on you.
I think Kirill even said something like, I don't know, Kirill had a goal yet. I think, didn't he have only
I think he had
a
one.
couple assists? Maybe he had one.
I think he had a single.
Yeah, they're tied. They were tied. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. No, I agree. This type of stuff makes me happy. I'm glad he came back stronger than ever. I'm glad he was pissed off at media members and outside noises suggesting he be traded. That being said, Kirsten, this obviously means Jesper Velstad has been down in Iowa, hasn't been doing as great as you'd like him to be doing in the American Hockey League, especially when the team had been carrying those 3 goaltenders. Do you foresee this meaning now that it's Fleury and Gus as your tandem? I mean, it's still a small sample size, all things considered, 5 games in. Again, he's gotten 4 of those starts, which I think is really good. But do you think that the Minnesota Wild have seen enough to say, hey, we're moving forward with just the 2, or how do you handle the Jesper situation given Gus's stepping up?
I can imagine for Jesper, it's just a very hard situation to be in. You don't know where exactly you're going to be. So I think maybe at least to start the year, a little more consistency at this point might be good for him. Get him those reps down in Iowa, get him comfortable there. I would probably say right now the smart decision would maybe, especially with how Gus has been playing, lean towards Gus and Fleury as your goalie tandem, and then see how you can work Jesper in later on. That's just kind of my take on it. I don't know. It's hard to make judgments this early on because we're only 5 games in, but based on what we've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, even earlier on when we saw just Gus and Flower in those first couple games, we wanted Filip Gustavsson, right? Like he was, and I'm glad the Minnesota Wild are just riding with the hot hand. Now, you look at the sample size, not only is it 5 games, it's against what you might look at on paper as lesser teams, right? I mean, it's teams that it's Columbus, it's Seattle, it's St. Louis. It's not teams that have necessarily been at top of the league, whereas they're going into the defending cup champs, Florida Panthers. And then you've got the crying Tampa Bay Lightning. I just can't, like, what does Tampa have to cry about? What does their fan base have to cry
They have
about?
nothing to cry about.
No, I for sure thought Toronto. I just can't get over that. Like, what are you
It's got
crying
to be
about?
Toronto. I don't know if I trust surveys anymore.
I know it's weird. But then you got the Tampa Bay Lightning, you've got the Pittsburgh Penguins. You know the Pittsburgh Penguins, that's going to be the Marc-Andre Fleury game, right? And you've got the Flyers, who are another strong team. So I think this back end of the road trip is going to be huge in deciding what that goalie situation looks like, and just in general about the team. Now, obviously, the hope is that Jared Spurgeon joins at some point coming up on the second half of this trip. How do you feel about Jared Spurgeon? Has it changed now that we've had it sink in a little bit? We found out a little bit more last week. All we knew was that he was day to day, and that's what they're maintaining. In speaking with Bill Guerin and John Hines last Thursday at the team's open practice, where they kind of had admitted this is related to his surgeries. This is part of his rehabbing back, and it's more about rest than anything and about no setbacks. Knowing that information, how are we feeling about Spurge moving forward? Is it about the same, or are there still kind of those same concerns? Or are we giving him that grace and saying, hey, let him rest. It'll be fine. We'll get him back when we get him back.
No, sorry. I don't know what I'm saying. I was going to say, I'm not a doctor, but I am concerned.
Yeah.
Like I feel they're trying to mellow the crowd by saying like, hey, don't worry. It's part of the process. But whenever I feel you've had a severe injury where you saw your captain miss pretty much the entire season last year,
Right.
due to this having season ending surgery on this injury, and it's still poking at him, that doesn't seem good to me. It seems like it might be something that continues to trouble him as he continues on.
Right. And it's, again, the way he plays, he's a smaller guy, so he's going to get hit hard, harder than a Brock Faber is, or Jake Middleton, right? And in just that right spot of where he had his surgeries. I had asked John Hines in a follow-up saying, what does this time off away from the team look like for him? Is he just strictly resting? Is he getting on the ice and doing singular solo skating? And they were working up to it. But the fact that they're so focused on him just resting, yes, part of me wants to believe it's out of extra caution and more precautionary than anything, but it's hockey, as we had talked about even early on in the season before he came back, it's an every other night thing. This season doesn't slow down. And if Jared Spurgeon's going to have to continuously slow down, that's something that they're going to have to figure out. Shout out to Damon Hunt, who has played the right role as we had kind of maybe hoped as well. And John Merrill, I'll even give him a little bit of flowers. I think he's playing pretty good hockey so far. Again, I don't love it, but I haven't been overly disappointed in that. But yeah, I think my concerns are still the same as last week, that this is going to be a consistent thing throughout the course of the season, where he's going to have to take that time off. There's going to be have to be a load management and time management for Jared Spurgeon moving forward now, because you don't want him to get hurt anymore. You don't want to force him into, I'd hate to say it, an early retirement because he re-injures this. We knew it was a serious one. That's why he took the year off last year. And again, credit to him for working hard to stay in shape and to be where he's at. But yeah, I don't think it's something that is evidently healed fully. And it's going to be interesting to see how they handle that moving forward.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, let's talk about some more good things. Offensively, Minnesota's looking good. How do we feel about Kirill Kaprizov so far in this year? We were both on the page of 50 goals. Might even be a 50-50 year for him. Finally seems like Kirill's finding the productivity on that score sheet a little bit earlier than he did last year. But just in general, it does feel like this is going to be a very significant year for Kirill again.
I would agree with that. And it just looks like he's also out there having fun. He's smiling. Love to see Kirill smile. He seems a lot more comfortable this season too, just right off the bat. I've seen nothing but good things from him, and it's exciting because when Kirill's at his best, hockey is just freaking fun.
And Matt Zuccarello then in turn does really well, right? Like
Agreed.
I kind of need to see that too. I think Kirill he just doesn't understand that he makes Matt's better, and Matt's doesn't necessarily make him better sometimes.
Yeah, I would agree.
Right? I don't know. That's all I got. Anything else that we need to discuss for the Minnesota Wild before we get into a wild week and before we get to our lovely guest, Melissa Caruso of PWHL Minnesota, which I can now call the Frost. I keep forgetting that they have a name because it's
Same.
very difficult for me because I worked so hard last year to just say Minnesota or PWHL Minnesota, but they're the Frost.
They are now the Frost. Nothing else that I want to talk about except for the fact that I was right with my wild week ahead predictions last week. I was 2 for 2.
You were. Somebody did point that out to me, namely, as well.
Good.
So
I like when
bravo.
people help hold you accountable online. That makes me smile.
That's what we're here for. That's really
Yeah.
all anybody can ask for. Let's see if you can do it again then. Let's go ahead and see if
No
you can do
pressure.
it again. No pressure at all. We'll do the next 3 games, as I'd mentioned, Minnesota Wild on the road, all the way up until November 1st when they finally come back into our arms. But Tuesday at the Florida Panthers, Thursday at the Tampa Bay Lightning, Saturday at the Philadelphia Flyers. What you got for this week ahead?
I think they
Not
go
as
1 and
easy.
2. I think their only win is against Tampa. I think they
1,
lose
2.
to Philly and Florida.
And it's just one straight up 1-2-0.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
I don't mess with these overtime shootouts. Don't mess with that.
Let's see. I'm gonna say 2, 1-0.
Wow.
They're gonna beat
Trying to
Florida.
one up me, quite
They're gonna
literally.
beat Florida and they're gonna beat Philly. Actually, that seems no, they're not gonna beat Florida. They're gonna beat Tampa. They'll beat Tampa and Philly. That's what I'm feeling okay about that. Think you'll get Flurry against the Flyers. I like that alliteration. Flurry Flyers. And yeah, I feel okay with it.
I just want to see Torts again. I've missed him a lot.
Yeah. I'm feeling, I don't know. Yes. Yeah. No, we feel good. We like it. We do. Certainly do. That's it. I'm just saying words now, words out loud. And that's how it's going. Your Minnesota Wild again. I'm liking the way they're looking. 8 points out of 10 possible. So not bad. Good for 4th in the Central. Winnipeg Jets, number 1, tied with the Dallas Stars, both 10 points apiece.
How about that?
Little too early to be getting. How about the Edmonton Oilers being at the bottom and the Calgary Flames being at the top of the Pacific?
There's still time. We're in single-digit games.
You want to talk about should we talk about the Predators too? The Predators they don't have a point. They don't have one single point. Why do they do this every single year?
I don't know. There's still time. Maybe we just need to tell them they can't go to another U2 concert.
That's apparently
they need to find something else to use.
It's insane. And you know what? In the more I see from Colorado, the more I think they're not a playoff team, which is a mighty fall from grace.
I've been praying for everyone's downfall for a long time, and I'm finally just seeing it come to fruition.
Is this
besides
the Reputation
Dallas
era?
I'm still waiting for
did?
Dallas.
Was the Reputation her revenge one?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is your Reputation era.
I've been in my Reputation era, I think, all of my adulthood.
Again, sad.
I know it is.
Angry. That's going to do it for this first half of Bardown Beauties. Like I said, stick around for the second where we have Melissa Caruso, general manager of the Frost, joining us to talk a little bit about training camp coming up for them, how they move forward without some of the same familiar faces that we had all remembered and gotten to know, and what is on tap for their season. So stay tuned. Hey guys, Jessie Pierce here for Livea Weight Control Centers. Are you ready to lose weight for good? Join Livea's nutrition plan today and receive 8 weeks absolutely free. Since 2009, Livea has been the trusted weight loss leader. And whether you're looking for a holistic approach through a customized nutrition program or a medical option, Livea's got you covered. You'll not only lose the weight, you'll learn how to keep it off for good. In fact, you could lose up to 20 pounds or more in just your first 8 weeks. I'm down nearly 40 pounds and have kept it off since I started my Livea weight loss journey a little more than a year ago. I could not be more thrilled. So what are you waiting for? And why settle for anything less than the best? Livea has been voted #1 in weight loss year after year. Visit Livea.com, that's Livea.com, or call 855-GO-LIVEA and get your 8 weeks for free. Plus, when you join, you can ask about Livea Medical, the GLP-1 medications, which are now available for new clients for just $199 a month. A limited time. Visit Livea.com or call 855-GO-LIVEA. Let them know Jesse Pierce and the Bardown Beauty sent ya. Hello, everybody. What's up? We are back. Joining us now, Melissa Caruso, the new Minnesota PWHL manager. Actually, I can call you the Frost. I still have to work on that. I worked so hard last year to say PWHL Minnesota, and now I forget we have a name, the Frost. Welcome, Melissa. How are you?
Thank you, Jesse, and thank you for having me. I'm great. I'm happy to be here. And yes, we are the Frost officially. Thankfully, I had less of a transition period. It took me a week or two to learn PWHL Minnesota. And then as soon as I got that confirmed, now we're the Frost. So here we are.
You mentioned new to this, new to women's hockey too. To give everybody a little update on your background. I know American Hockey League has been your life for the past about 15 years. Is that right?
Yes, which is scary to admit. But yeah, I joined the AHL basically as an intern in college. Was hired full-time shortly after that semester by our past president and CEO, Dave Andrews. And I really just held every single position I possibly could there. I settled into hockey ops maybe 8 years ago and just kind of took off from there. So I've got a really good background in league operations. My primary areas of focus would have been building our league schedule, player central registry, collective bargaining agreement, working with our board of governors. So wore a lot of different hats, but that's how it works in the AHL.
And Melissa, as you've made the transition over to the Minnesota Frost now, what has it been like for you getting to know the women, the coaches, the staff, just everyone involved around the organization?
Yeah, it's been great and really fun also. So yeah, I joined the Frost just after Labor Day. So kind of just dove right in. So our coaching staff, Ken Klee, he lives full-time in Denver. So he came out, the week after I got hired, and we did a couple days of meetings with the entire coaching staff. Very shortly after that, I kind of started to dive into the roster and reached out to all of our players and had a lot of individual meetings. I think first step for me is kind of getting to know these women as people first and athletes second. So I'm working through that process now. But yeah, it's been great.
What's your favorite thing about hockey? What drew you to hockey in general? Or was it that the opportunity was there and you're like, hey, I want to do sports management, I'm going to take it? What was that background like?
Yeah, it's a great question because I've never played hockey. I don't shy away from that. I know it's
Us
an
either.
interesting.
We're not hockey players, but we love the game, right? Stick together.
I mean, hockey has given me my entire professional career, so I feel really indebted to the game of hockey. To be honest, the reason I got connected with the AHL was that the president and CEO at the time was an adjunct professor at my college. So I kind of learned about him, learned about the league. And once I started working for the AHL, I just fell in love with the league and the game. It's obviously the top development league to the NHL, but there's so much more to it than that. And like I said, it's given me my entire professional career. I couldn't imagine ever doing anything else.
And, we kind of have similar stories in the same way how we didn't play. And just kind of for me, I went to St. Cloud State and fell in love with the game there, wanting to be on the broadcast team. So otherwise didn't grow up with hockey or anything at all. But I can kind of tell just the passion that you have for what you do. What's your favorite part about getting to work in the capacity that you do?
Yeah, well, I feel really strongly about sports in general, how they can bring a community together. So I think that's really been a driving factor for me. But the thing about the hockey world is it's really full of a lot of really good people. So, I've got a huge network, on the men's hockey side of people I've worked with over the years, and slowly starting to shift that network over to the women's side a bit. But the people I've met along the way have left a lasting impact on my life.
Mm-hmm. Now I have to know, you didn't play hockey. Can you skate though? Do we learn some things? One of the two of us is a decent skater. The other one's a terrible skater. I'll let you figure out who those might be. But what's your skating skills on the ice?
I can skate. I wouldn't say I'd volunteer to hop on the ice and help with practice at any time soon. But if I was in a pickle, I could get on there and hold my own for sure.
Okay. And just because Jesse put it so eloquently and delicately, it is me who can't skate, but I can stand. I can, I go slow, but I keep my balance. I'm able to be upright. I don't need my walker. So, you know what? It could be worse.
That's right. Thank you.
You should use a walker though, probably, like just for safety precautions. Like
You're not ready to see that heat. I'd be zooming all over the place. You're not ready for that.
Uh-huh. Melissa, what do you think the biggest difference is going from being, not in charge necessarily, but working with an entire league versus working with a team now in just its second year though, too. So I imagine there's so many more hats that you still have to wear as a general manager of a league that's up and coming.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it's really cool to be getting into the PWHL while it's still kind of in the first couple of years. I think in 10, 15 years, we're all going to look back on this time and think about the legacy we built. And I'm just really excited to be a part of it. For me, working at a league, I've watched a lot of hockey. I haven't really had a lot of favorite teams because it was my job to be, unbiased. And I'm really pretty fired up to be able to, wear purple and cheer for the Frost and have a team to really rally behind.
And Melissa, whether it's organizational, personal, as you look ahead to really getting this year going, what are some of the goals that you've set or looking to do?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting situation, right? Like it's not every year that a GM kind of walks into a situation where we're defending a cup right off the bat. So I think personally, my expectations are really high for myself and for the team, and I want to, I want year two to be better than year one. I don't know how we'll get there, but we will. They had a pretty incredible season last season, but yeah, I think in full transparency, like I want to make sure we're building a great culture and have everyone on board to achieving the same goals and working together to do so.
What can you tell fans? Now, there was obviously some off-season dramatics following the cup, with the departure of Minnesota's Natalie Darwitz, but you're now taking the role. What can you tell fans to say, hey, stick with us. This is a new chapter. It's still exciting. And just make sure that they're really moving forward and turning that page with you and the Frost, who, as you said, are still defending champs and a lot of returning players there as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think in my messaging has been pretty consistent, as I've met with the roster and my staff is, I'm here now. We're going to turn the page and move forward together. And I think everyone has been really, welcoming to my addition here in Minnesota. And I think as long as we're all pushing forward together, hopefully, the summer is in the rearview mirror at this point.
How excited are you to get things underway in November and then the schedule being released now? You've got 30 games, 6 more than last year. Just how pumped are you for the second season?
The schedule makes it real, right? Like I started after Labor Day and I remember thinking, oh, I've got plenty of time to figure this all out and, my onboarding process. And I looked at the calendar. Okay, it's mid-October. We're a month away from the start of training camp. And yeah, the schedule makes it real. It's nice to have some firm dates to look forward to. The home opener in December is going to be so much fun. And, through my conversations with some of the players, so many of them told me that, their favorite moment of last season was just that first home game and seeing the crowd and the cheers and the support that, the community here in Minnesota gave them. So I am really excited to see that myself.
And would you say that's kind of what you're most looking forward to as we're gearing up, is just to get officially underway? Or is there another point this season that is something coming up that's really exciting to you?
Yeah, I've never, like I said, I've never been in this sort of role in a locker room. So while I'm looking forward to day one of training camp, that first game, seeing the new jerseys on the ice, which I haven't seen yet, but I hear are awesome. I just think it's going to be a surreal experience.
I have to imagine the crowd is probably more than you get in some AHL games, right? I mean, we're talking 13, 14,000, 11,000 on the small end. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a whole different animal, for me to witness. So it's going to be awesome.
How do you make sure that you have a team on the ice that could possibly repeat and be back-to-back champs? That's the goal. And here in the state of hockey, we need our women's teams to go out and make the winning happen. What are some of the plans that you have in motion for that?
Yeah, I've been working with the coaching staff to kind of get me up to speed. We've got 16 players signed. We've got 7 spots open, plus some reserve spots as well. So Training camp is going to be quick and there will be decisions to be made. Yeah, and to be honest, between now and then, I'll just be doing my homework and getting to know all of our tryouts and what they can contribute to our team.
Is it starting to feel real yet? Or was there a certain moment where it really set in and you're like, wow, we are doing this thing now?
I think it was, I mean, I really dove right in right after Labor Day. It was meetings popping up on my calendar, so many people to meet. You know, once I got into TRIA and started to get familiar with our space and our staff, I made the flip from the AHL really quickly once all that stuff started to happen. It's in my rear view now and I'm looking forward.
Well, we love it. Well, welcome to the state of hockey. Cannot wait to get the PWHL season underway again. Camp opens at TRIA November 12th. First game, I believe it was December 1st, right? At home.
That's right.
We
Yes.
love that. Melissa, thank you so much. Can't wait to catch up with you throughout the course of the season. We really appreciate you stopping by.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me and we'll see you soon.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for this week's episode. As always, shout out to Talk North, Royal Credit Union, Jim Beam, and Livea.